Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another Cold War Zombies video. In this one, I want to talk about Transit coming to Cold War. Now that we have the new Outbreak mode, a lot of people are thinking that Transit's definitely on the way. So I just want to kind of discuss a lot of stuff that a lot of zombie YouTubers, people on Twitter, and some of those zombie YouTubers, their subs and viewers, a lot of stuff they don't understand when it comes to solving Easter eggs and figuring what's coming next. Also, a lot of them just make clickbait videos saying that they have inside information, that they know people at Treyarch, or some people know stuff at Treyarch. But I think it's coming down very recently, and this is something I want to go over again, why in Black Ops 4 I stopped giving answers out. Because people are just going to steal your information and make it into their video and say that they have inside information, when in actuality they just take the answers from the people that actually know what is coming or that do the research and look for the clues and see what's coming or when it's coming. Really quickly, the most recent one that people have stolen is the fact that there's going to be a standalone zombies game, stuff that I've talked about probably almost 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, just by doing research and looking at the clues. Again, people probably come across the videos and decide that you're going to steal it and not give them the proper credit. So for this, again, I'll give it another shot. I'm going to talk about Transit coming, if it's going to come, and how you know it's going to come, and kind of what leads up to Transit coming in Cold War. Again, people don't do the research. They don't realize that Treyarch's not just going to drop Transit into Cold War without setting up the backstory. I personally think they learned their lesson from Zombie Chronicles, Blackout, and Black Ops 4, where they kind of just made a couple map and really didn't jive the story or the storyline that well. Even in Black Ops 3 with the blood vials and the Conorium, a lot of it was pretty much just kind of mashed together. People have said it's to clean up what Jimmy Zelensky did, that maybe Jimmy, actually Blandell was the one that said it, that Jimmy painted himself into a corner. But I think a lot of people need to realize and look at why we don't have Transit yet. First thing I want to talk about really quickly is the fact that Transit was almost a prototype in itself, and people, obviously the big channels and what I call like their simps, but their their viewers, the people that, like, no matter how wrong the big channels are, they'll understand or believe anything that they say and go along with it. But you have to realize Transit was a prototype. It was a mode. It was kind of like the next step in zombies. And if you look at Extinction, you look at Shadows of Evil, they used Transit to kind of perfect that. Again, I also mentioned it in Origins, the tank. I think even Blundell mentioned it. What they took from the bus, and even the airplane in Mob of the Dead, all that stuff came after Transit and kind of came out of Transit. So people have to realize that Transit may not have been remastered or remade, but a lot of stuff took inspiration from it, and I think Treyarch uses that as kind of their litmus test, or just kind of like a test or a guinea pig test, as people say. So you have to realize that they take stuff from Transit, they try and perfect it, tweak it, and then they see how people like it or if they don't like it, and stuff like that. So that's the first things first, is Treyarch is not in a rush to make Transit over again because they've fiddled with it. Infinity Ward fiddled with it in Extinction, the big mode. You kind of are on a mission and you're going through different parts of a huge map. Extinction was probably the most obvious one and has to do with aliens too. What people fail to also realize is that Transit was supposed to have aliens in them. Of course, they again waited till Shadows of Evil. They put the Apothicons as the aliens in the map. But Transit was supposed to have more than Avogadro, who originally was an alien. And there's artwork and there is a lot of stuff out there that shows that we were supposed to get more and different types of aliens in the map, and it was supposed to be the first campaign mode in zombies. So that's one thing. We're not really talking about aliens yet. We're still setting up the storyline in Cold War, we're traveling maybe to the dark ether dimension, and there's stuff about particle accelerators. We're setting up the story, and when I see people saying that Transit's definitely coming because of Outbreak, and it shows that Transit's going to come, Cold War, Die Machine, Firebase Z, it's just starting to set up the story. If they wanted to make a true Transit remake, maybe with the operators, I think it's going to come a long way down the road if it does come. Again, they already fiddled around with Transit in other games, other maps. Again, Origins, Mob of the Dead, Shadows of Evil. There's a lot of stuff that, again, they took inspiration from. So a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. Again, the aliens and the maps have already been kind of like tweaked in other maps after Transit. So those are two quick things I wanted to talk about. Again, another thing that I want to talk about is a lot of these maps have taken inspiration from movies and video games. So I think they're not going to repeat using the same movie. And very recently, I would say ever since Black Ops 3, they have incorporated video games now into it. I don't think I can remember in World at War, Black Ops 1 or 2, any video games that they used, but of course the devs and there's new directors of Zombies, they're going to use what they want to put. They're kind of like the coach or the general manager, and obviously the director. So it's their kind of choice or turn to put whatever they want in Zombies and maybe fiddle around with the recipe in a way. So that's one thing. You got to realize a lot of these maps, if not all of them, originally started with a backstory about movies. And again, a lot of people don't do their research. They don't understand that's why Lee Ross and Infinity Ward did the storyline with the film reels traveling to the 80s and stuff like that, and the projectionist and the director and stuff like that. So that's one thing I wanted to kind of touch on. And the reason I'm bringing that up is Transit is based off of a movie. They only put a small little hint of the movie. Both Transit and Buried and Die Rise, all three of them, all are inspired from a movie. I don't think the Zombies community knows about it. I don't think the zombie YouTubers know about it. Maybe the people who got invited to Treyarch know about it, but of course they're obviously not allowed to speak about the movie. So that's one thing too. If they do decide to remaster Transit, are they going to use the same movies that Transit, Buried, and Die Rise is based off of? So that's one big question that I'm actually dying to find out. And again, the obvious thing is Cold War. Cold War is right now based in Russia, in Europe, overseas. How they're going to get... I know we have Miami, so there's a Miami map. And I actually think there's some multiplayer maps and stuff like that, but I don't know if that really ties into it. The bulk of the story is in Russia, so how are we going to go from Russia? But then again, I say that, but if you do look at the maps, Transit was in USA, then China had Die Rise, and then Africa had Buried. But the thing that I have to mention, because I in the past have gotten tricked, not really tricked, but maybe looked too much into it, is the fact that they do want to pay homage or pay respects to some of the older maps that they've made. Again, like they've put Transit Easter eggs in a lot of the marketing. They put it in other maps, multiplayer maps. The truck actually straight ahead has been in multiplayer maps for a while. I don't know why that one just went dark. Why did that just go dark? Oh, I know why. So again, really quickly, a lot of the maps have inspiration from Transit or little Easter eggs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Transit is coming. Again, the main thing I think people have to look at is the storyline and the movie that Transit is based off of. If they are to make Transit again, and I know there's this, actually, before I jump ahead, the storyline, Kino Tertoten is tied to Transit. People don't know that because people don't do their research. You can't have Transit buried in Diarize until you have, first of all, the Moon, the events of Moon, A, and then B, Kino, the events of Kino have to happen before you can even have Transit, and then that decides if is next decides if Treyarch wants to retell the story of Transit. I know they did a little bit of that in Black Ops 4 with the museum map, multiplayer map, and they kind of changed the story a little bit. They retold it more of a missing town that disappeared overnight. But again, people have to. I understand a lot of the videos that are out there are just clickbait, money, cash grab videos. You know, they put anything with Transit in the title, and they want people to watch it and then get people hyped up. And then they pretend that they have inside information, or that, again, they watch other people's videos and try and take answers or stuff from other people's videos and just kind of put it in their own and say that they have inside information, where in actuality they just have saw people's idea or theories that they liked and pretend that they have people that on the inside. Again, I feel bad because if stuff doesn't if stuff doesn't come out to be fact, or they don't make a standalone map, then I think I'm gonna feel foolish, and then a lot of people that copied the homework is gonna feel foolish, and that's the thing too. It's like the person who actually did the research. It's kind of like when you get caught cheating in school. The person that does the research, they might not know anybody who copied off of them, but the teacher and the principal is going to call everybody into the office and be like, hey, why is everyone's work all similar, and stuff like that. Or people are going to pass the blame and, pass it to the other people. Anyways, I know this is kind of a quick one, but I just want to kind of go over that really quickly, that I think people are getting ahead of themselves. They don't do their research of see why, or the groundwork that has to be laid before Transit comes. You have to look at stuff that happened in Black Ops 2 and 3 before you can get Transit, or Black Ops 1 and 2. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.